Haha. Action, what are you talking about? Ah, it's not. That's Love Actually 2, that.
The only thing it was missing was Hans Gruber standing outside with placards.
Oh, the thing, the thing with Hans Gruber, we kept saying, that's the guy from Love Actually, the film you love.
So, this is a prequel to Love Actually.
That's actually Alan Rickman.
We are live, so please do not say shit or bugger. I think we're live. Are we live?
Couldn't tell you, man.
We should be
so.
live.
Check.
Yes, we're live. We are live. Good evening, Internet. Good evening, world. It's the Haggis and Dragons crew here. I'm Paddy. Somewhere around here is a Mick, a Ross, a Mark, and a Bucky. And we're all on camera! Yay! Merry Christmas, happy festive
Bucky's
season,
on his
happy
phone.
Yule. Bucky's on his phone already.
Nuh-uh. I didn't get a homemade SpaghettiOs recipe sent to me, so...
It was also the kind of ominous light glowing up from your face at the same time. It was like,
It's just me.
what's he doing? We thank you very much for joining us. We are going to play through The Curse of Strahd after a very unsuccessful episode 0, in which I think Bucky basically killed half of the guys in the tower. But
Just
we're hoping
jump
for
in.
better. We're hoping for better dice rolls. We're hoping for better luck. So join us as we jump into episode 1 for Haggis and Dragons playing The Curse of Strahd, where the rolls are still awful and the role playing's actually pretty good.
Before we start, though, we do need to plug it on Twitch, just so you know, on Twitter, because we've not actually promoted it yet, like the actual.
Quick work.
I didn't turn up earlier on.
Back in my day, we had 2 cups and a string. That was how you let people know.
Mark, you're the same age as us.
Keep yourselves, guys.
3 out of 5 of us are the same age as Mark. The other 2, however, are fortunate. Isn't that right, Bucky? We're all living vicariously through you.
I was going to say, I think Mark drains me my age sometimes, though. Like, I can feel my life force going.
As long as your will to
Yeah,
leave
Bucky,
is slowly
Bucky.
being sapped, we're all good.
What's up, Ross?
Okay, want to see my impression of you?
Yeah.
Hey,
There we go.
Spot on.
Alright, it looks like fucking Pulp Fiction when they look in the back of the car.
What's in the suitcase? What's in the suitcase? It's a spaghetti recipe. Who knew?
Right, so Twitch.
So whilst Mick is talking to himself and promoting this and putting it out on social media channels, I am going to do a little bit of a background and a little bit of an introduction, so that by the time Mick is finished, we will all be in a wagon carrying on with the game. So
Wagons never end well for us.
never ever. So Mark, can you introduce Damakos, please? How do you pronounce it first and foremost? Because Mick has misrepresented you a couple of times.
Hold on. Damakos. Okay. Damakos.
Emphasis on the first A. Damakos.
Arrogant, egotistical bastard.
Mark Smith at Damakos.
Well, you see, if you arrange the letters right, you can make it.
Okay. So Damakos
He's
is
very much selfish, self-centered, out for himself, and screw everybody else. Yes, I'm supposed to
playing
be
yourself.
playing.
Do you realise this is a
The,
team-based
the
Yeah.
dice god spoke.
Co-op.
Okay? Paddy rolled the dice. This is what I got. Blame him.
I did not roll arrogant, self-centered. I just gave you some flaws. So Damakos is a warlock,
Warlock tiefling.
tiefling.
Penchant for solving things with the pointy end of a sharp sword.
Okie dokie. Bucky, can you introduce us to Logan, please?
Logan Red Fox is from a family of well-known monster hunters. He, following the same family tradition, is out to earn his rightful name in the family. So he is off hunting monsters, pretty much. Which kind of scares me that I'm with a tiefling and a chicken man. But we'll see if they're good.
Mr.
sorry.
Lavery. Mr. Lavery, would you like to introduce Walton?
So Walton Sykes is a half-elf warlock, quite a slight fellow, quite sheepish, bookish, kind of academic type. He just went into one of the local pubs for a drink and got swept up in all this madness. So he's a victim of circumstance.
Feel so bad
He's
for looking at
Victim,
Chairman.
you say? I can work with that.
so you're an innocent warlock dragged along with an arrogant warlock, dragged along with a fourth generation monster hunter, something like that. Fourth or fifth generation monster hunter, can't remember.
5.
It's one of these things that just
I give
happen.
it a V.
When you're on it, you know how when you're on a night out and you just get swept up in a group.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're friends with them. That's kind of, which is what we were talking about earlier on. It's kind of how we all met.
We just
Yeah.
sat in a pub and thought, hiya, hiya, then off we went. And hopefully by this point, Mr. Social Media Engineer Technician can introduce himself.
Yes, I can. I was just saying hello there. We've got Drunk on Cider in the chat, Gomez the Brave, and Shannon from our friends across the pond.
Good morning. Gomez,
I was
good
trying
evening.
to say American there, but I couldn't think of the word America.
Took you a while. You see, it's a good thing you're not a wordsmith. You're just a technician and the sound guy and the social media guy.
I am
So anyway,
articulate. Thought of all the other words. So my character he's called Il Krakaww. He's an Arakocra monk, and he likes a bit of the booze. I didn't mean to play him as a local Glasgow jakey, as that's what it's called, a little drunk man. But here we are. The only
It works.
yeah. So let's see how this works. I'm basically doing a drunken monk. So, we lost Mark. There he is. He's back.
They forgot he had drink. It's like, oh, right.
So yeah, so that's my boy. He in the first episode there, or episode 0. I don't know if he's made friends with Walton or enemies. I've just kind of dragged him along, saying, "Oh, thanks for getting me out of that little circumstance that we were in, saving me off the edge of a cliff, or the tower." So I've dragged him along to the next encounter, which is when we enter Barovia. Is that right?
so time to set the scene. So each of you have spent the past hour in this wagon that you're currently in together, travelling along a road that has become increasingly misty and foggy as you progressed. Now, bear in mind, you've already spent some time, some of you together, in the tavern previously in Waterdeep. Some of you have known each other from prior to that, with the exception of Walton, who has quite literally been picked up like a piece of parchment and blown across with the wind, stabbed several times, burned, singed, and he's still with us, of which he's still trying to figure out the next part of his story. So, as we carry along, your driver, Vargile, who has offered to bring you to dinner, or a dinner, was an invitation that you've received in his wagon as thanks for saving him and his life and the life of his friends and his colleagues in the previous tower. Now that you've gone further enough and farther enough, you recognise the fog is much closer than it should be. And even though you're passing through it in the wagon, you would expect fog to dissipate. You would expect mist to move around you. But it doesn't until it basically swallows the entire caravan. And as you progress along, you start to hear the howl of wolves, the pattering of some feet, and the wagon starts to become a little bit more stuck in the mud as you progress along. Vargale from the front of the carriage shouts, "Aha, friends! We are here!" And the wagon comes to a halt.
Is Wolves always so close by here?
Sometimes. Very occasionally. They won't harm you, though. Welcome.
Slowly get out of the wagon.
Okay. As you get out of the wagon, Vargale is standing there in sort of lighter browns and tanned leathers, some unusual coloured robing that you hadn't really seen him wear before, and with a lovely flashing smile. This human, kind of mid to late 30s, with a deep set brown hair and blue eyes, motions you towards a road sign that indicates that you're on the old Svalix road. And the old road in itself has just one turn-off and pointing, which points to the north, which has the word Kresk written on it. And I think it's 1.2 miles along the road to go. And Vargale certainly gestures his way along, says, "Welcome to your reward. I will see you all anon. I must head on and deliver things to my master, but I will call upon you. Make yourselves at home, and welcome, my friends, to Barovia. A word of caution. Mind the fog. It's a little bit tricky."
Okay then.
Miss.
Glance around. Yes, the fog. Mind it.
And as you turn and look, Damakos,
Mr.
the fog in itself seems. Give me an arcana check if you wouldn't mind. Let's go for the first roll of the evening to be something insightful and wonderful and interesting.
Oh, this is going to be a disaster.
This is going to set the game, Mark.
Come on,
Okay,
Damakos.
here we. Does a 21 do anything? I'm asking because it's you and I don't trust you.
As you look into the fog in itself, you could swear that you can see things moving through it at first. Small rabbits, a fox, a few things. And as they get closer and closer, you can see the actual life force of the rabbit and the fox that makes its way towards the fog weeps and drains and withers and shrivels. And you know that this fog in itself is of the utmost powerful magic. That any force that chooses to walk through it is sure to receive some form of immensely negative effects. So much so that the fox, wily enough, sniffs, turns, and manages to make its way back out again. But you would swear that the fox that went in that came back out again is something that's aged magically by at least 50 years. The rabbit in itself doesn't make it back out of the soup. And this is not just something that sits, 15, 20, 25 feet high. It was as though there is an entire wall surrounding you in every which direction, and it just bleeds out into the darkness.
It's rare I'll say this, gentlemen, but I believe that our driver may actually have been right about this.
What?
Not a natural fog. Oh, dear God. Go into the fog, Mr. Bird. Go. On you go. I'll watch.
I see.
Or you can just be quiet and stay here.
I see three wolves howling at the moon on a black t-shirt. Is this just Mark? I'm kidding.
Listen,
I'm
do you
just
happen to have
gonna
one of your books handy.
One of my books?
Yes, heavy one, solid spine, preferably.
Right. Yes, I do.
May I see it?
I like story.
Yeah, thank you.
Damakos, stop asking people to throw books at me. It's not nice.
Stop talking.
Hang on. For the benefit of the audience, I love Ross dearly, and whenever we come up with character concepts, we can make brilliant concepts until the point where we go, "What's the character's name?" You go, "What have we got?" I love the fact you've got a book called Walton. Well
Mm.
done. Carry on. have 1 extra XP for that.
Hey.
Is it a
Sounds
magic
smart.
book by any chance, Ross?
Yes, it is.
The
Hey,
magician
other
has
than
books
fog,
on.
Is there anything else roundabout?
So, roundabout, everything else that you're looking at just now is a muddy embankment of a road that is enough that you could probably fit 2 carriages along side by side before it rolls off into natural ditches. And then the tree line starts some 30-35 feet back. The trees themselves are old. They smell of death and decay. They are green, but not as green as they should be. And the wood itself is brown, but not as brown as it should be. Everything seems to have a very subtle hint of grey, and you can actually see some mist part through some of the trees. You can't really see into them. They're not necessarily dense, but you can't see that far towards any one particular direction around them. Vargalen himself still standing next to the wagon. Tundra says, "Well, the safest road is up this path here, but if you continue along this road, I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon. But now I must wish you a good evening, because evening doth approach. And I've taken you this far."
Mr. Vargo,
Hmm.
when would you happen to be coming back?
Coming back through Kresk, let's think. It's Tuesday. I reckon Friday. If the mood takes me, or if the master asks for something else.
Okay. Just come back with you now.
No, I've done exactly what I've been asked. I will be leaving you here. If you wish to go any further, I'll be taking some gold from you, but I'll be dropping you along at the crossroads. There's 100 gold apiece. You see, my horse is very tired.
I do not believe this is the sort of service that gets a 5-star review.
Oh, certainly. I am a trusted pilot.
Okay then. Thank you.
It's just dawned on me that you've got a pile of books with you. Are you going to have late fees when we go back to that other town?
I don't think we ascertained how
Oh,
many
Bucky.
books he's got, but I think it was a few.
You have no idea. Oh,
Sorry, man.
Walton's-
Look at your library card, you'll be fine.
Vargale walks to the front of the caravan. Gentlemen, thank you. I will see you all, hopefully sooner rather than later. Jumps in the back of the wagon.
Wednesday?
Stay?
I think it said Wednesday.
A Friday.
Just kind of turn around and go, fine.
Good evening. And the wagon starts to roll off.
Just kind of look towards the path that he'd mentioned and go, well, he said this is the safest route. We should probably be on our way.
Yes, because the man was clearly trustworthy.
Well, we're in the middle of nowhere, Damakos. What would you recommend?
That's not a question I'm going to answer right now.
I thought so.
Taking in the scenery.
Right, just start slow ahead.
Just- Experiment with this fog. We've got a couple of volunteers.
You can fuck off if you think I'm going in it. I heard that man said don't go in the fog, and you're trying to kill me again. You're a cheeky bastard.
Okay, you can either go in the fog or pay me the gold you owe me.
What?
You forgot who bought your drinks?
Let's go to somewhere else up the road. He pointed to the sign, didn't he? Shall we do that instead? Everyone, let's do. Buckman, what have you got to say about this? Where you want to go?
Nowhere else to go but north?
Onward then.
Continue on.
Let's continue on. Scare away from our debt as fucking far away as possible.
Carrying on the road north is your current direction towards the town of Kresk. It's about 1.5 miles, as it says by the sign. And you start to progress all the way along. You're walking for about, I'm going to say 15 minutes. And Walton, can you make a wisdom check for me, please?
Oh dear. Right, I'm actually good with that. Right, cool. Wrong character. Great, 6. Wait, 8.
Okay. Never mind. As you're walking
You're
along the
actually
path,
good with that, are you?
I was.
as you're walking along the path, what springs to mind is Logan and Damakos. Logan and Damakos at the same time, both of
Meet yourself, you're dying.
Your mic.
COVID. Nope.
Took me long enough, but it's fairly taking effect.
Oh, for the benefit of you on the stream, we just had the earphones. Thank you.
I drink me out. Well,
Damakos and Logan, I beg your pardon. As you're walking along, both of you almost at the same time keenly observe maybe about 40, 50 feet off the road on the left-hand side, between a set of trees. There's 2 trees to either side. There seems to be a bit of a natural path that had been there before, or a trail. And it's not anything that's been paved. It's something that maybe horses or deer or something have just kind of galloped their way through. And you can see hoof prints on the bottom of it. And there's 3 rusted iron traps, 2 of which have been sprung. One of them has a bone between them, protruding out. Looks to be, from this distance, just a bone that's been whittled all the way down to the bone. There's nothing left, no sinew, no tissue, no flesh, anything like that at all. And one of the 3 is still open, ready to be engaged.
how
The path
big are these
itself is
traps?
clear. These traps are about 3 feet across. From your experience as a monster hunter, these would be used for nothing smaller than a bear.
Look at Mark there to see if he'd react, but it's good.
Different character.
I'm going to say to Damakos, I'm going to have a look at these traps just to kind of see how long they've been sprung. Sorry, how long they've been kind of been placed there for, just to kind of look at.
No problem. Give me a intelligence roll, please, if you wouldn't mind. Damakos, are you assisting or are you minding your own?
I'll give him a hand. I won't even push him into it.
Okay. Intelligence roll at advantage then.
13.
13 total. This trap has been engaged for well over 20 years. The rate in which the trap...
20.
The interesting thing is the 120. He would have got it at advantage since
Okay.
The trap that's not actual, the trap that's engaged and ready to be activated is quite unused. It has drops of rust on it. There are some vines that have started growing over the top of it as well, but you're pretty sure if you tap that kind of central pressure plate that it would still snap whatever you put in there. The one that actually has the bone attached or caught within it, you reckon that's been at least 20 to 30 years that it's been sitting there and it's been rotting away. Other animals have been picking at it. There's very definitely some gnaw marks, as if a small animal like a rat or something like that's been chewing away at it. But you can tell that this bone is about 2 feet long. So whatever it is quite sizable. You can't really tell if it's human or not, or something of a similar nature, but it's quite big. In terms of the surrounding area, you can't see the signs of any other animal life or anything else like that presently. The trail that you have walked down, that distance from the main road, seems to be quite well used. But it's as though anything that's come through here recently has stepped, seen the traps, and gone over it or gone round. So that they've learned over time. These things haven't been moved in a long time.
Okay. Just going to take a wee note of that, and then I'll head back towards the main track, because do want to step off
Okay.
Mr. Winters.
No problem. So Damakos returns from his pee in the woods.
You gotta go, you gotta go. Damakos gotta pee.
When you start.
This is how it starts. This is how it starts. As you walk along the path, it takes you about 20 minutes. It would normally take you a little bit less time, but you're overly cautious because of the surrounding kind of area and the atmosphere that you're in. Everything smells damp, everything feels cold. There is a slight mist and rain, but nothing quite as direct as Scottish rain. It's just that kind of nice pitter patter that's hitting the back of your cloaks and the back of your hoods. Il Krakaww, you do feel the cold a little bit more than most, given some bald patches in the back of your feathery sections here that you've not really been taking too good care of yourself. But as you progress along, you're pretty sure nothing's following you and nothing seems to be paying you much heed and attention until Damakos, give me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Wisdom saving throw. Wisdom
Mhm.
saving throw. 20 total.
20 total. The hairs in the back of your neck stand, and you can feel a warmth through the horns at the back of your head. Mick, FYI, cameras seem to be going on and off on Twitch quite a bit. Okay, fine. You just get this feeling as if somebody's walking over your grave. Your grave.
My specific grave.
Your freshly dug grave, where the ground is still warm. And where you're walking on the ground, it feels warm. And the wind that's coming through is ice cold, and you don't feel the rain anymore. And for a second, you turn and look, but there's nobody there.
Anybody else feel that?
Just kind of look towards my headbeat. Feel what?
Not quite sure. Like someone walked over my grave or we're being watched.
Kind of how we look inward. What?
You guys are alone as far as you can tell, but there is very definitely something behind you now.
They have a cattle ghost.
That was beautiful timing, well done.
Oh, it's lovely.
Louise gets 1 XP for that.
Can I make a perception check just to see if I can see what he's talking about?
Go for it.
Looking behind him and. So I'm just trying to work out D&D Beyond. On it is saying passive perception 14.
I'll take that. Passive perception is something that if I think you can just get it, like for example, what happened there with the traps at the side of the road, that's something that I would just give to people who had relevant enough skills to see something. So it's more, pardon me, in the light of day, in broad daylight, what is a detail that you notice depending on how high it is. Your passive perception is one of the higher ones. Your roll of 11 coupled with your general insights on how you are, I would suggest that you would notice that Damakos has reacted to something. The other two are absolutely fine, nobody really notices, but Damakos has very certainly turned and checked over his shoulder. And you, as the introverted book reading, I'm not going to say know-it-all because that's not fair, but the nicer member of the party, the one who's just been dragged along, the one who's maybe still a little bit paranoid of the surroundings, not a monster hunter, not a drunken bird monk, nothing like that, but you're more aware that shit's gone spooky. and Damakos has definitely felt something. And I'm aware I keep calling it Damakos, not Damakos. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't worry. Everybody else has been butchering it, so why not? I don't even know how it's pronounced, really.
The road up ahead
Um,
switches round a curve and then actually goes deeply downhill. And you can actually see ahead of you now. And you notice this first more than anybody else, Walton, is signs of life. Where everyone else is looking in the trees and looking behind them, and Il Krakaww is looking all over the place. You're the first one to look forward and actually notice that there is a settlement ahead of you. And it's surrounded on both sides by trees, but there's very definitely a distinct grey outline of a wall and a set of guard buttresses or towers and a gate. So as the road goes, it'll probably take you about 4 or 5 minutes to actually get down there, and you can see some sconces lit, some torch sconces. And from this distance, you're not entirely sure, but you think there's signs of life, apart from the flame in itself, the wall, the breakaway from the natural world into something man-made, and it's just up ahead of you.
Gents, I think this might be Kresk that Bucky was talking about.
Sorry,
You see it?
who's Kresk again?
The town we're going to?
I kind of look towards Harold. I'd been kind of still looking around, just kind of a bit paranoid now. Oh, that's good. We should maybe hasten our selves along so we're actually in a town and protected if Damakos has seen folk.
Sorry, Logan. Who the fuck's Harold?
Point.
Gonna just jump out there. Walton, sorry, I know what Harold. He's a good guy. He's a bard, you know.
Oh, look what I found.
I'm so envious. Mine's too far away. I'm not going to stop the stream now. Let's go. So, Il Krakaww,
Aye.
the air grows cold around your feathers.
Oh, it's a wee bit chilly, isn't it?
You feel it in your feet.
Oh, my wee claws, my talons.
Give me a perception check.
Oh, don't make me do that now. I'm half asleep.
At disadvantage.
Why the
Says
fuck did I
Jibber
say
just
that?
to be happy.
Why the fuck did I say that? 12
It's-
disadvantage.
12.
Yeah.
With the swoop in the wind and the coldness that you feel as you turn round on the road behind you, as you turn and look, there seems to be a rider, a horse and a rider. Except, maybe you're just too tired. Maybe the effects of the blood dragon wine that you've had in the taverns previously, or the little wine skin that you've been carrying around with you starting to get a little bit dry. But you could swear that horse and that rider
Aye.
are skeletal.
Skeletal? Oh, fuck.
The horse is bone top to bottom, but is the form and shape of a horse. The rider is bone from top to bottom and is in the form of a humanoid. 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head, and the jaw that hangs open. And from the right hand holds onto a set of reins that is attached to the front of the horse's mouth. And the left hand hanging out is a lantern, a hooded lantern, but it's not lit. And it's just staring, and it seems to be staring straight at you in the middle of the path. You didn't hear this thing coming. It's just there staring at you.
Guys, this is fucking scary, by the way. Is your fucking ghost horse things like skeleton that? Like looking at me? Can you see it over there?
Disturbed enough by the
Can we?
feelings I've had in the mist, I'm actually going to look back and see if I can see what he's looking at.
Anybody who turns round sees an open road back the way you came.
Do you see it? You fucking scary
Yeah.
bastard there.
Kind of
Maybe we should
tap
take
him
that
on
one
the.
out shopping.
I think you've had more than enough.
I haven't had anything in like an hour. Let's start talking
No,
about.
no, let's not be too judgmental. Like, let's go on.
Why are you doing that when my breath's at you? Why are you doing that face?
The skeletal rider, the horse, takes 3 steps towards you, very, very slowly.
Let's fucking go, honest.
And the rider turns its hooded lantern across to one side of the road and just looks, mouth open, and turns around and looks to the other side of the road. The horse is looking more or less straight at you, but the rider in itself is just looking around to the left and right and takes another 3 or 4 steps forward. It's probably about 20 feet away from you now.
Guys, we need to go here. Like, hurry up. I'm shiting myself here.
Yeah, let's just go before he actually does it.
Okay.
Apparently I already fucking stink, don't I?
Logan, if you could take the lead and get us moving. Walton, you're a friendly sort. You can keep an eye on Krakaww.
I'd rather Walton
Why do I have to?
up front. I feel bad that he's out of his comfort zone here. Come on, Walton. I'll
Yeah.
take the lead. You cover me.
Okay. Just gonna walk.
That's probably the fastest marching order. That's probably the fastest marching order decision you've ever made. It's just kind of like, yep, I'm going at the front. Yep, you're next. Yep. You make your way down towards the gatehouse. The 3 of you are effectively just carrying on, just to see how things are going. Il Krakaww, you're now stumbling backwards almost, starting to get a little bit afraid of this rider behind you. Just as they turn the horse to the west, from the direction that you came further down the road, and they make off into the trees.
I think I've sobered up a little bit, to be honest. That's terrified the life out of me. But I'm keeping my eyes on wherever they went, just to make sure they don't come back.
That's fine. You can definitely. You've heard it before it stepped and disappeared into the trees of the very deliberate, slow, 1 foot at a time. And the rider itself, you're not really sure, but it looked like they were looking for something or someone. And the horse, until it was veered off, was just looking straight at you. It wasn't rearing or kicking or doing anything else. It was just very patient, very stoic almost. And then it just gets taken through the woods.
Was that the pathway where the traps were?
Receive an inspiration token. You carry on down towards the gatehouse. There are very definitely lit sconces within both of the towers and above the gate, but the gate in itself has 2 huge wooden doors sealed over that's about 10 foot high. The walls in themselves are 20 to 22 feet high. If you're to be standing on top of them, that would be your drop. And there's arrow slits every 10 feet going all the way along this wall. This is like the traditional, we're in a castle, we're in a settlement, we're not coming out sort of setup here. But the path in itself allows you to walk straight up. There's no moat per se. It's purely just a path that allows you to walk up. But it is starting to go uphill. The last 10 feet or so, you do have to walk up to the gates or up to the door. And within these 2 huge doors, there is a 7 foot by 3 foot wooden door with a small window and 2 bars. Who's got the best passive perception? Walton. Now that you're closer, your human eyes can adjust. No, you're half elf. You can see further than that. I beg your pardon. You can now see there's 3 figures on top of this gatehouse wall section, and there's 1 in each tower section. They seem to be holding spears, wearing helmets.
Does it look like they see us? Can't
If they
really
have,
tell.
they've not made any. If they have, they've not. They've not made any indication. They've not made any noises. They've not shouted out. They've just been watching.
Just kind of looking up and just going, "Excuse me, we're here for dinner." Nothing?
From the other side of the door, a face appears. What are you doing out there?
Looking to come in.
What are you doing out there? That's not good to be out there. What you doing?
Can you let us out, man?
I believe I just said we're waiting to come in.
Waiting for what? You're not invited. Who are you? What do you want?
Well, I am Damakos, and what I want is to come in. Somebody else has butchered the name. Let me do it too, okay?
But you're.
Vargale sent us.
He's got horns and stuff. I mean that's not natural.
Hey.
You don't have horns. That's unnatural to me. But am I making fun of you? No.
Well, I'm behind this wall and you're out there. I mean, you might be a demon.
I kind of put my hand on Damakos' shoulder. He does look like a demon, I'll give you that, but he is not. He is just a king trader.
Yes. Excuse me?
He always buys people beer. He's lovely, by the way. And they aren't real horns either. That's just a haircut that he's got. That makes it look like horns. You should let us in, by the way. It's fucking scary out there. And the man told us to come up here and see you. You got a quest for us or something. I don't know. But I need to get in because I'm going to shite on the floor out here. Can you let me in,
Walton,
please?
I'm going to require a book.
I'm running out of books.
Hang about. He's got horns and you've got feathers. I mean, is that like stuck on with tar or something? I mean, what are you? I've never. As
Hey, look at Logan here and ask, at what point can we skip the nice party routine and get inside?
This is their people lands. He's just doing his job. You must admit, the both of you do look quite odd in their lands.
As you, Damakos, because you've got the kind of front and center view, effectively, because you've seen this guy, it does look bald, human, with a hood up that kind of sits to about here, clean shaven, but something seems odd about him. Something seems very weird, almost a pale blue kind of shimmer to his skin. And the guard standing to his left, who's got a crossbow over their shoulder, doesn't have it pointed at you, just at the shoulder with two hands on it, kind of shaking a little bit from what you can see. And they both kind of confer and go, I'll tell you what, I'll go get the Burgomaster. He'll know what to do. He'll know what to do. I can't let you in until the Burgomaster says so. So you're just going to have to wait. Wait here, all right? Just you wait. Don't go anywhere. Well,
No, of course. I'd advise hurrying. The bird boy looks like he's about to piss the wall.
Right. Okay. I'll look, use just. And he fucks off. And you can actually see anybody who looks in at this kind of porthole or window. Excuse me. You can actually see they've progressed back some 15-20 feet along a path, and there's a small bungalow to the right hand side. From the inside, all they see is a bird to kind of go. But to anybody else looking inside, can see a small kind of lit cottage, and they both disappear into it. Smoke coming out the top of it. And then after a few minutes, gentleman steps out. Where's my notes? There's a gentleman who comes out who has a gold sash dripping from his right shoulder down to his left, but looking at it, anybody who can see it, it doesn't look like gold. It looks like really worn and rusted brass. And he's got blue and mahogany sort of striped royal garb, as if you would expect. as is the office of the burgomaster. Anybody that knows, for a small settlement, they've typically got someone in charge who is the burgomaster. He is local law enforcement. He is the person that solves civic disputes. Equally, because you've heard the word burgomaster, each of you will have come across this term before. You know that this is not a big settlement. This is maybe 200 people tops. But as the burgomaster steps forward, huge white beard, and wearing almost his best clothes and trying to kind of shrug his way into them, and goes, "Good evening.
Yes, marvelous evening.
Who am I addressing? Welcome to Kresk. Who are you?
Resk is
What?
welcome to acknowledge me. I am Damakos.
I am Dmitry Kreskov. I am the burgomaster of this settlement. Why are you at my gate? What do you want? Is it trouble?
No, it's quite simple. I'd like to come in.
Why?
For starters, it's cold and wet out here.
Cold and wet in here. Why do you want to come in here? Is there something out there?
Yes, out here there is me. In there, I believe you're likely to have a tavern. Now, typically speaking, taverns have food, ale, a warm bed. You do have a tavern.
No.
But
We
you,
have no wine anymore.
you got any burgers though?
Be quiet.
What is that, Birdman?
Oh, you don't know
Burgers!
what that.
We have food aplenty for people who want to come in, but we have no wine. It was the one thing keeping us all going.
What's wrong with your voice, by the way? That's annoying.
Just gonna look at him for a second there.
Pot kettle, what's wrong with your voice?
Walton, hand me the book.
You can't hit the burger man with that. That's the order.
If you want to come in,
Where are you?
maybe
Just pass it down.
pass the book along to Damakos.
The next time Krakaww opens his mouth, book gets shoved in it.
The burgomaster kind of adjusts his hat a little bit. The rain's starting to drop down, so what was a solid rimmed hat is now starting to kind of mush in and around his head like some sort of weird marshmallow. If you want to come into Krez, then maybe we can help each other. I can invite you in if you perform one service for the town. If not, that's fine. I do not want any trouble here for my people. We already have a demon.
Gonna look at him. Demon, you say?
What's the task before we commit to anything?
This
Oh,
town wants to drink and forget, and wine is good to keep us happy. I am a very happy person. I like wine. I would like to give you my warmest welcome if you can get the wine from the winery. We sent our guards 4 days ago. They have not come back. This makes me sad. This is my sad face.
Assuming we get the wine for you, we don't have to pay for our share of the wine.
If you get the wine shipment for our village, we will share with you, and you can use one of our houses to stay, to sleep, to eat. The Birdman seems to want the bathroom.
I don't think I want to be here. If you're going to talk like that all the time, as it
Having
bang,
the book in his mouth.
bang it up.
You're welcome. The shipment, where is it?
The winery, the Wizards of Wine Winery, is south, 1 hour walk. If you can return with the wine, you are welcome residents and saviours of morale, as we are kept low with morale and wine these days by the demon who haunts us and plagues us. And maybe, if you can do this, perhaps I can be of more assistance. Or not. It's fine. I
Look
don't
at
mind.
Logan. Hear this now as if, should we do this or do we just try to find somewhere else?
Logan and Damakos, could you give me perception checks, please? Given proximity and conversation presently.
Perception.
15.
15.
12.
Logan. The guards on the walls. Walton pointed them out to you earlier.
Mhm.
Walton, you see this too, because whilst Damakos and Logan have been having a good back and forth, you've just kind of looked up to kind of see what's going on here, trying to kind of get into this place. At least 2 of them aren't real. At least 2 of them seem to be practice dummies, you know, like wooden stick down with small arms that are just, there's a spear resting against one of them with helms on. You're not sure about the other 3, but 2 are very definitely, like, you can see the spear move in the wind, and not move as in somebody's, you know, just standing there and rocking back and forward. It's actually physically turning in their hands, or their kind of wooden hand-shaped things there. They're not grabbing the spear as well.
I'm not going to say anything because we're right next to the gate. I'm going to say, in response to Damakos' question, I think we should do it. If the people need help, we need a place to stay. We're in foreign lands. We don't know where we are. We don't know how far the next city is. If it's an hour's walk, then it's nothing. What time is it just now? Is it
It's
like
settling
daytime,
into
or?
about, it's getting on night time. It's getting to about 6 o'clock, you would reckon. There is a kind of greyness about, and it hasn't necessarily darkened any further so far, but you never know if that would change. You've been here for about 2 or 3 hours so far, and it's remained this level of light, if you want to call it that.
So we're doing this, Logan.
I think it's probably our best option.
Right. We'll undertake this
Hold on a
task.
minute. Can I just tapping Logan on the shoulder, or
Walton, what's up?
hand it? We just offer to take care of the demon.
No,
No.
we're going to go check in this vineyard to see what happened to their supplies.
Oh, like an investigation.
Yes. I mean, but you read books, so investigation's a big thing that you would enjoy.
Just nudging me like, it's really sore.
I ain't doing no bidding for a demon, by the way. And that book's disgusting.
Need to get wine.
Alright, let's do it.
Walton, go put my arm around Walton. Look, don't worry. If we have anything to do with the demon, we'll charge gold up front. But this is wine. So maybe a couple of bottles will get lost on the way back. How hard can it be?
How hard can it be?
Can't believe you said that.
Paddy's got his DM smile on again. Don't like the way he said that.
Mark said that we didn't say it. Just want that pointed out.
Just checking.
I fear no amount of DM luck. Mine is already crap.
You've got better. You've rolled higher than 10s pretty much so far.
I know. For everything outside of combat, where do you think the crap's coming?
So far.
Yes, Dimitri will set out now then and get this hopefully sorted.
Master.
Okay.
Directions to this shipment would be appreciated. It may be an hour away, but in which direction?
You said south.
South is a
There.
large direction.
The road only goes two ways. You can go back the way you came, but watch out for the fog. You can go the other way and south. It will take you to the winery. We have not heard from our friends in 4 days. I suspect they are no longer with their bodies. That is sad. We
See,
just care for the wine. The wine is the thing keeping our town alive. The abbot requests more by the day. He does great work for us. We must pay our debts.
When we get to the vineyard, is there anybody we should be looking to speak to?
The vineyard is operated by a friend of the family called Davian Martikov.
Davy and who?
Davian Martikov.
Are they twins?
That is both his names. You should know first names and second names. And the family name is Martikov.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said Davy and Marty Cov. Know what I mean? So it's two of them. I thought they were fucking twins. I'm sorry, by the way. I know a guy called Davy and Marty, so I thought that was similar.
You may enjoy the winery. It seems to suit you very well.
Can we just
When you return with the wine shipment for us, we will let you in and the hospitality of Kresk.
Let's go before
Okay.
I regret this.
Shall we head off? Paddy,
Yes.
been playing Half-Life by any chance lately?
Don't know what you're talking about.
No?
Who knows where my inspirations come from?
What, like a book saying Walton?
Exactly. My bookcases are
Hey,
open.
the pressure was on. Anyway,
Like, the town's called Kresk. I
I'm
keep
still
getting
going through
something else.
I'm still going through my doable characters list, and as soon as I saw Kresk, I was just kind of went, Kresk. Kresk, not Kresk.
Yeah.
It's not just me then, okay.
What was his title again, Dimitri?
Beggar man.
Because I kept hearing Burgermaster.
Burgomaster. Burgomaster is effectively the leader of the town.
Cool.
Oh,
It's a title given on each of the individual settlements that are effectively tiny towns. So between 200 and 500 people, you would typically expect that this guy, as much as he's dense and dull, is the person who's responsible for the protection of the settlement, the economy, every dispute, marital or otherwise, that goes on around about the town, land disputes, attacks and defence of the city, or the settlement, I beg your pardon. Yeah. Burgomaster. If you hear that term again, if it's mentioned outside of Kresk, it may well mean that it relates to another Burgomaster for another town.
I thought you said
So this is
beggar master.
I'm the exact same. I kept hearing that the whole time. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't say it.
This is the master of the
Yeah.
beggars. That makes sense.
You should-
Burgomaster. A Burgomaster. Doesn't help.
Right, onward.
Okay. You walk straight back down the path that you came from, knowing full well the settlement behind you, and as you kind of whisk your way back up the switchblade, or the switchback sort of route, it's not a switchblade, switchback route, and you get back up to the top of the path where the skeletal rider was before Damakos, you notice all three traps on the right hand side of the path as you walk past are now triggered. There's nothing in the third one.
Logan, you didn't by chance happen to set the trap off before you left it?
No.
Excuse me.
Maybe something passed by when we were speaking to that man at the gate.
I know what it was.
Something that passed over it but didn't leave anything.
Guys, hear me out. Hear me out. It was a big fuck off horse with nothing but bones, and his pal sitting on his back with no jaw. It was them. I think they said, "Oh my god, I can't handle this. We need to get some wine. Keep going. Just ignore that. Just please.
I've done nothing so far in terms of insanity inspiring stuff. That's all him being a jakey.
Just gonna kind of look at him as he's ranting and raving, then turn back to Damakos.
Ah.
Oh, we're in agreement that he's a fine point man. Yes.
I don't want to agree to something like that. I'm not saying
Oh.
no.
Krakaww, you've seen this creature? Or...
A big bony horse and a big bony guy on his back. Scary
Clearly
bastards, and they went in that bit. They were following us for fucking ages, and I told you to have a look, and you just didn't believe me. And now those traps have went off in the place where I seen them go. So who's your fucking liar?
Oh,
Well,
you should take point, follow the evidence, because if we can't see it and you can, we don't want to get ambushed, do we?
How about no? Alright, I can't handle this. Not without my wine, so let's go to the wine. You can fuck off if you think I'm going in there. No. I'm
correct?
I'm scared of horses.
Am I correct that this is the way?
This is the way.
Wine.
This is the wine. Aye, it is the wine. But I'm not going first. You can fuck off. I don't even like real horses that are alive and I've got meat on them and that.
Walton, it springs to your mind as you're walking down, and you guys have been walking for about half an hour now, back down the path, along the only other way the path goes, and you're following the sign at the next turn off as you walk down. There's a crossroad junction that takes you south that points its way towards the Wizards of Wine Winery and Vineyard. And it strikes you that it's getting late. And you're all alone on this road. And Il Krakaww is giving his best statements back to Damakos to say, I'm not going. You can't make me do it. You can't make me walk first in line. There's no way in hell. I'm not getting anywhere near that horse. But he's been walking for about 1.5 miles and he's still saying these things. And over your left shoulder, give me a perception check.
That one.
It's not
Over
me
your-
today.
Over your
Take it back.
over your left
We're
shoulder
playing
is
Cthulhu, that'd be amazing.
a leaf that fell from a tree. So you just brush it off. You carry on.
At least they're finding it.
I get arrows to the face. He gets a leaf.
Could be worse.
Is Il Krakaww still ranting?
How loud is he, actually?
You ever get one of those decibel ratings in sound meters that usually goes from still as the grave and it usually gets to like a quiet conversation in a library?
Yeah.
Then there's a coffee shop, and there's a construction yard, and there's a football match when the team scores at the 90th minute. And there's Il Krakaww.
I'm going to tell you to shut the fuck up. We're in the middle of nowhere. You're shouting and blowing. You're talking about a skeleton horse. If that thing is true and it comes and gets you, who's it going to come after? The guy who's been silent or the guy who's shouting his head off? You.
It's going to be terrified of me. Because I'm terrified of it.
That's not quite how things work, Krakaww.
Well,
Now, the finer points of psychology, fear, and loathing are possibly beyond you at this point, but let's just say no.
oh, is that right? Did you learn that in the book that you didn't throw at me?
Pick up the book. I can throw it again if you want.
Listen, I've been trying to tell you not to do this, but you keep fucking going, and that's how I'm getting louder and louder, because the tears are just rolling and rolling, and the shite's
Right.
just pouring and pouring.
If you're telling us
I
not to do
take
this,
it he's facing.
oh, no, go on.
I was just thinking, like, I take it Il Krakaww is facing Damakos and Logan while he's ranting.
Yes.
Effectively, what you've got is one of those situations where you've seen these angry couples walking around in the street everywhere.
Oh
And
my god, I mean Damakos a couple.
I mean, Walton and Logan, you guys are kind of stepped like 10 feet back from this. You're walking along, you're not going your full base speed, but you've got, your hands in each of your swords, and you're just kind of like going along at a steady pace. And they are kind of, at one point, Il Krakaw's in front, and he's storming on, but then he does that couple thing of he turns round and yells back at Damakos, and Damakos gets up to level, and then powers past another 20 or 30 feet, and then he turns round, and they're just going all this way. If anything, it makes the walk down to the vineyard to be fantastically swift.
Okay.
As you get to within the
you're
last half mile, and you start to see down. So as you come out of the crossroads and you descend down the last half mile, the road goes ever down and down as a steep gradient going down the way. And you reckon if you were to walk down this, it'd probably take you 6 or 7 minutes. And if you were to walk up it, it would take you 20. That kind of hill. And as you come down and down the path, coming out of the woods just to the left-hand side is a small man with a thick, green, leatherish looking cloak and a walking stick that's probably about the height of his thigh. And he's kind of leaning on it and gingerly making his way out of the road. And he's waving to signal you to see if you can see him.
Is that Davian?
But still kind of mid conversation with Cracker because he's going off his head and we're trying to tell him to shut up. When I hear him say, "Is that Davian?" But looking around.
Hello? Hello, masters?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
What's your name?
My name is Davian. Hello.
Ah,
Are
excellent.
you...
Called it.
Are you able to help poor old crow like me? Hello.
We've been sent to look for you.
Have you?
And
My
your
home-
brother.
What?
Your
My
brother.
brother?
Marty.
Don't listen to him. He's seeing things in the mist. It's quite easy to go overboard.
He steps out a little bit more from the trees and he just kind of leans on his stick a little bit and just... Well, from whence do you hail? Where are you from? I'm in need of assistance, but you don't look like you're from these lands.
I am not fucking lost. So you might be able to help us out, you know what I mean? We need the wine.
You've come to the right place, my feathered friend.
Cock-a-doodle-doo and all that shit.
Away.
Call.
Logan, you handle discussions.
You keep him back in. Okay, he's fucking legs.
I can't help myself, alright?
We know you can.
Walton,
Davian. Yes. Hello.
there's an odd feeling you get. Like you're being watched. And you look just... If there's somebody outside that window, I would have ran. For the audience at home, Ross is about 3 levels off the floor. So I'm
I've
just
seen
gonna...
something.
Sorry, I'm breaking the fourth wall. So just over Davian's shoulder, there are a couple of huddled figures in the trees who seem to be wearing cloaks or hoods or things like that, but they seem to be kind of kept back and huddled into themselves. But you feel a connection to these shapes.
Okay.
Off goes Il Krakaww.
Probably wait for him.
We'll wait for him. We'll wait for a second for him.
Right. Walton, you're required to use your book skills to keep him quiet.
Shove a book in his mouth.
Look in his mouth,
Oh,
solid hardback to the back of the head. You know, I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job. Just
How can you say that's his job? He would literally kidnap this guy.
okay. We're bringing him here for an adventure. He's getting life experience. This is like work
I'm
placement.
learning how to be an investigator.
XP, that solid life gold.
Shh, he's back.
You can't hear his out his headset's not on.
That's what he
Hold on,
wanted
hold
to think, but it's actually come through speakers.
Oh, sorry, hold on. See when he comes back, I'm going to pretend to be like filled in for Il Krakaww.
Okay.
So 3/4 of our game will be just trolling him.
Yeah,
I can get behind
that's
this.
fine. Everybody on Twitch
Making
can
me
get
ask.
to this as well.
Aye, and that's why I think you should give us the wine and that, no?
Oh, I was filling in for you.
Dick.
No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding.
What happened? So you're talking to
So what
Davey.
What happened was you didn't mute your mic, you noisy bugger.
I did.
He did not.
Nope.
No.
Nope. The sound guy doesn't know how to mute it. Maybe in Twitch. Maybe in the stream.
Nah, you know what the problem is, mate? I reckon it's using a different... That's bizarre. Okay.
So,
Yes.
are you back?
Yeah, I was just checking
I
to see
think
if it had the right settings, and it does. So I don't know what Discord's playing at, but I muted that.
Didn't work. Yep.
Okay.
So,
Hello.
Oh,
You
Yeah.
just mute it on Discord, you know.
I'm not on Discord.
Ah, yeah.
Kinos.
I can see you.
No,
Oh. Huddled hooded figures affinity.
The Davian sort of turns and looks and goes, "Ah, my family. Would you like to meet them?"
no.
How old is the
I'd
children?
like to get on with the job, actually. Socializing was not something we're being paid for.
As much as I love having you guys in stereo, I had two different voices in my head at one time now.
I asked how old he was. Then Mark says no to socialising. Then Ross said yes.
Thank you. How old is he? 50s, 60s?
Cool.
Old for a human.
Why'd you use that word human? I just say it as a old guy. I know you're game.
I don't say things without reason, ever. Everything has a reason. Even that sword, which is a mimic! No, it's not a mimic.
are we getting
Ross.
to meet Marty?
Shut up.
You mute yourself. You don't have time it.
I may start doing that, muted timeouts. That's going to be it. Sin bin for 5 minutes, no interaction. Walton.
Yes.
As his family starts to step out of the trees, there's two probably mid-teens, early 20s guys who step out, both human, visibly, and both of them hands-on swords, both wearing long capes, and you'd very much get the feeling that you have a connection with these people.
Hmm.
and you would recognize them a mile off.
Just kind of go up, go, hello, friends, I'm Walton. Kind of hand out to shake their hand.
The older of the two extends his hand out and goes, Adrian. Hello. I wasn't aware of another lycanthropy patient around these parts.
Just keep your voice down.
Oh, hush, I see, right. What are you doing here?
Funny story.
No, the
We're
winery.
not actually meant. The wine. We were sent here by Dimitri to come fetch
Oh.
wine and yourselves.
Oh, you're from you're here for us. We live here.
Oh, right, okay. I was told by Dimitri that he sent out guards to fetch wine.
Davian turns back around and goes, yes, they're not here anymore, I'm afraid. We have a bit of a challenge and a problem. You see, yes, we supply the best wine in the world, but something has removed us 2 nights ago from the winery. Evil magic. So
you actually can't get in.
We have been forced out, as you can see down the road a ways. There's the wagon, and as you look down the road in itself, the winery itself is a single 2-story building, which looks rather like a massive barn, where there's an actual section that you could see the cart would typically go in for loading up of the barrels, and then back out and then drive away. And you can see the tracks are really well worn, so there's been a lot of back and forth here. And one of the wagons at the front doesn't have any horses attached to it, has 1 barrel on the back of it, and there's 3 dead bodies around the wagon in itself. There is another wagon within the actual nesting area, if you like to call it that, or the barrel loading area. The front door has been opened and is swung inward, but you can't really see much more than that. It is starting to get dark, but you can see no other signs of life. There's just some shrubs and some dead briars and bushes that are around the front of the winery. So you can't really see much else other than that. But Davian kind of, picks up his staff and points it jagged end towards the winery. Someone came mid-morning and forced us from the winery with magics that I have not seen in a long time, and forced myself and my family. This is the Martikov family behind me, including my grandchild, and one of the younger kids is holding a baby, and a swaddle of blankets and furs, must be no older than a year. We have been shipping wine all over, to everywhere. We have countless orders still to fulfill. There are probably close to 200 bottles of wine within the winery in itself, but some strange magics came and withdrew the thing that allowed us to grow, our grapes. They've since taken those away. So if you wished for wine, there are plenty of barrels and bottles within to last for months.
You said you hadn't seen this magic for a long time. That implies you've seen it before.
Oh, I have. You're quite right. Natural magic. Evil natural magic. You're
From
familiar
who?
with the druidic powers and those of nature who walk, ones that blossom trees and flowers and all sorts of weird and wonderful things.
We've had dealings.
These ones are inherently evil. Dead trees, blights that spring up from the ground, roots to trap you. Nothing quite so beautiful anymore. Some group of figures, but one taller than the others, maybe 6.5 feet tall, carried a black staff, came into the winery and used his magics to clear us out and chase us out. It seems our life was not important to him, but I'm pretty sure they could have snuffed us out any time.
How
But
many were there?
4, 5. One carried a staff. He seemed to be the leader. 3 others carried bows. 1 carried a axe. They've been there for 2 days.
They're still within.
They are. But I have a fear that they have removed our gemstones. You see, the winery runs. As you can see, the ground here in Barovia is quite difficult to grow anything that's not a tree. So to grow the wine, we need particular magics, and we have 3 gemstones. 1 was stolen 2 years ago, and the other 2 allow us to make different forms of wine for Krisk and many other customers. But this druid seemed to have a particular interest in them, and I know that 1 was stolen last night. But the 5 remain. With those gemstones, we cannot hope to make any more wine. But we can sell what we have and give what we have to those in need.
The 5 still remain. Who stole the gem?
We do not know. It may be a blight. It may be something of nature, of evil nature, tree shape. What we do know is the ground at the winery was been disturbed, and it's been unearthed and removed. Bucky, sorry.
Am I able to do an arcana roll to see if there's any? I've heard any like kind of druid magic that kind of allows them to, you know,
Certainly.
send objects. You know, like. Natural 20, and I can take a picture of that if you need me to. So suck it, Mark.
We'll take it, we'll frame it, we'll give it to Mark for our New Year's gift.
That's my best roll tonight, and that'll be done. So.
I will remember this.
From what the old man seems to tell you, effectively what he's talking about is effectively just a gemstone. No particular great size. So to remove the thing from the ground is nothing short of digging. Pardon me, he seems to be talking about some sort of natural life giver or potentially a water gem or something like that to keep the ground moist for grapes to grow. You're not really sure. So to remove it, it would simply be digging down with a shovel and taking it out of the ground as if it was a buried piece of treasure or a root or something else. To transport
it without, like, you know, they said that they saw 5 people went on, but there's 1 missing. So
yeah, to transport it could be any number of a couple of ways. Effectively, it's a gem, and from what you're talking about, you could assume it could be something like the size of a pine cone, for example. It's not that massive, so feasibly, through nature, you could put it in the clutches of a bird and send it off. You could put somebody on horseback and send them off in the wee hours of the night when people are sleeping.
Yeah,
it could be a number of different ways. It's probably more real world and normal natural world than the magics per se, but there could be ways.
Okay. Let's focus more on the important tasks right now. The 5 are still within. Are there any other entrances than the main doors?
There is where the wagons load. There's the front door, back door. The back door leads to the vineyard. We take the grapes from the ground, we bring them into the building, produce the wine, onto the barrels, and off we go. Our living quarters are on the 2nd floor. You are welcome to explore, and you're welcome to take just the wine that the burgomaster requires. I am forever in your debt if you're able to do so and clear the place out that we might move. But ultimately, after 6 months, we will have no more wine to produce. Unless we get the gem back.
I'm going to look at Walton and Krakaww and just think of the idea of being able to sneak about with all those books and a drunken bird boy.
I don't have that many with me. I could set them down.
I'm sober as the day I was born.
You mentioned there was 2 people with swords. If I was to look to them and ask them if they're able to fight, would they join us and help them clear out the place.
As you can see, the majority of my family are quite young. They're under the age of 15, some of them. I would prefer to have my people back, but Adrian could perhaps accompany you if you wished an extra sword. We have other ways to help, if you need so.
Other ways?
We have other magics. Walton, you suspect.
Obviously, they'll have some advantage on us if we are attacking them.
Why are we going to attack them?
We need to attack them.
The people that took over the.
Oh, I thought you meant this guy here, this poor guy.
No. I mean, we'll talk.
He's dodgy anyway, man.
Ah, my murder hobos, here you are.
Well, someone's got to die. That's the rules.
Yeah, I suggested not fighting, but
You want to try and deal with the druids that have taken over?
That's what you'd say, you buck man.
I'm of the opinion that yes, because I don't see us being able to sneak in with. Well, I don't see us being able to sneak in and hand out. Me, maybe. The fighter in heavy armor, less so.
Well,
I'm more willing to cause a distraction for people to sneak in. But we shouldn't take what. Sorry, we should take what Walton said. We should try and speak to these people. We're coming from outside these lands. We don't know what the dispute is.
yeah, I didn't put magic on us.
Logan,
He's speaking
we were
sense.
given a job. Get the wine, bring the wine back, drink some of the wine. We weren't asked to make friends.
You've got that in the wrong order.
I understand where you're coming from, but this is only for 6 months, as they've stated, and after that it will go dry. So why not just solve the problem? If anything, it's probably best that we try and do that, unless you just want to get this and go.
Humans, man.
The old wizened man just kind of looks and says, there may be some things within the property, if you wish, that you can certainly help yourselves to. I don't have much, but if
we're
you
talking
wished,
my language.
if you wished more wine, I would be happy with 5.5 months worth of supply to distribute amongst the poor populace. If my wine is the best in the country, if not the best in the world, magically infused though it is. But many people from across the world and across our worlds, from Kresk to the Vistani to up at Castle Ravenloft, everyone drinks my wine. It's a gift everywhere.
Now, Logan, I believe that's a business proposition contract. We should.
So now you're willing to help.
If you're willing to assist me, rather than just take the 3 barrows that I owe to Dimitri,
Why don't we
I'll
just
make
take them all?
you could.
Thanks.
I would like my family to sleep well this evening, not under shade of rotten tree.
Hold on, we've had to do that in the past, right? Don't try and act like you're better than us. It happens to people.
Hard times
We
this
have-
year, you know.
We have so few things to live for in Barovia. Wine and soft bedding are 2 of life's pleasures, and I hope to be able to restore the wine supply to the country. So a soft bed will do nicely for my children and my grandchild.
Pick one, isn't it? Pick one.
Walton, what's your thoughts?
I think if we're going in, we could. Sure, Adrian would be able to lend a hand as well.
Happy to.
Is there any more cannon fodder?
I think they like the term red shirts. Come on.
I think they like the term red
say anything.
shirts.
Remind me again, Bucky. Isn't your character supposed to be a good alignment?
Yeah, in character, out of character.
Yeah,
Have a
that
dig.
Oh, that goes without fucking saying.
Yeah, I'll pick a crossbow or magic spell for that. Really doing good. Maybe. See how it goes.
Right.
This is
We're
not
going
going to
to
go
talking to
well.
them first. Then.
Right, we should scope out the place. Like, see if they've got any guards, whatever.
Do you really think they're
Oh.
going to start a fight if we just walk in there and ask them what's going on?
Aye, there's a big chicken man coming at him and the guy with horn.
Fuck!
Surprised we never get shot
I
at.
tell you what, Logan, you make a good point. These people are superstitious, simple-minded, somewhat isolated. My unique appearance tends to, well, simple folk are rather easily spooked. So what we'll do, you go in the front door, and I'll go round the back. If negotiations go well, no problem. I'll just walk out. If not, well, we can either make a little withdrawal of the wine supply, or we can deal with the problem from both ends.
The Damakos classic. Going in the back.
Okay, Marcos, you have a good point. So why don't me and Walton go in the front door as you suggested, and you and Il Krakaww, who, as you definitely says, have unique appearances, go round the back. We shall try and
What you
talk
do
to them.
here, however, I do not believe that Il Krakaww is particularly good at the subtle, stealthy, silent approach. However, he would draw attention to you and
You,
certainly keep them off balance.
you making assumptions there, that's uncool. Oh, Krakaww, do you think you could sneak around the back?
I do, but why you call me caca? That means shite.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, slip of the tongue.
Oh, God, we said it at the exact same time, man.
I think it's a conspiracy, but come on, me and the horny man will go down the back.
June, please never say that again.
Okay, Walton, we'll go in and we'll see if we can try and talk to these people, as you suggested. Goes to it, and get down.
Oh, give me strength. This is gonna hurt.
Get ready for your initiative roll. That's what I'm saying. This is gonna go tits up big time. Love it.
Oh shit, he's getting the book. He's getting the book.
Get the book out. Il Krakaww and Damakos.
Yeah.
You make your way down the path and very quickly dart along to the side of the building. Making your way past some shrubs, small dead trees, rose bushes they look like, depending on what it is. And you make your way along. Il Krakaww, you actually snag your wing on one of them.
Bastard.
Wyatt.
Bastard.
Make your way around the back of the building, and you can see the back door there. It's just a singular wooden door it reeks of really stale wine, because as if wine has been constantly splashed in this door. Things have been, potentially barrels have been broken against it, never ever repaired or replaced. Serious.
What?
I don't know, I heard
What?
Mary from somewhere. I think that's Mick.
Let's never mind. Let's give the cat his jag.
Do you need to pause and go do it, or?
No, you can have 20 minutes.
I mean, I'm going to say I'm okay if you need to go do that, Jack.
Yeah. Well, what I'll do is I'll do this bit, and then I'll cut to you guys if that gives Mick time to
Yeah.
boost and do that. Let's not put Mick's cat at risk.
Yeah, I'm worried about
It's
the cat.
fine. Like, get like an hour window. It's fine.
You said 20 minutes a minute ago.
Yeah, but I'd done it like 20 past this morning, so.
You both make your way around the side of the building. Damakos is very low to the ground, stealthy, trying to be as inconspicuous as possible. Damakos himself has the wonderful Glaswegian drunken walk of the head forward and just a little bit off to the side, and then slowly dragging himself
Done
whilst
that
on
walk.
balance. So both of you would give me a stealth roll, please. Damakos, I'm going to give you your stealth roll at advantage.
Mick, I think you're going to get a 1 here. I don't know why. So, that's me too.
A 19 for stealth.
23 total.
Expertly passing through this barren and dead land,
Followed by.
an expert, although he doesn't necessarily intend to be doing it, it's almost superior reflexes at this point that allow him, that when you think he's going to trip over something and stop, he just delicately and graciously, with a gust of wind, you pass with the wind, but he's the one creating the wind.
Sorry.
You didn't roll a 1. If you roll a 1, that's the sort of wind you're going to be coming away with to give your position away.
Do
But
birds
you don't
fart?
even leave. You tell me. You make it canonical.
I'll Google it later.
You carry on and manage to get yourself both to a sort of flanking position on the door and start to look in to see what you can see. The door itself being closed, and Damakos, as your arm extends across, you can push your arm against the door as it opens inward. Meanwhile, at the front of the building,
That's your cue, Mick.
Walton and Logan, you step forward and you notice there's maybe about half a dozen more of these really sticky, small shrubs just around about everywhere. And the 3 bodies lying on the ground that are wearing a very similar garb to what the Burgomaster was wearing, with the exception of the sash or the hat. So it's effectively old Renaissance style red and purple robes in the front, soft, supple leather, and each of them have a short sword and a hatchet. Some of them have got hatchets in their hands, some of them have got their short swords in their scabbards, some have got both swords just next to both of their hands where they've been down.
Walton, just, do you have a weapon? Just in case.
Yeah, a sling, and I have I think it was a dagger. I've got.
Yep.
Would you perhaps need a short sword? Or do you feel comfortable with what you can do?
To keep their distance, I could try.
Okay. How do you want to handle this? And do you want me to do the talking, or do you want to do the talking?
You're probably a bit better at talking than I would be.
This is my face. My face in character is like, yes, of course. And out of character, no. And sure, let's see how this goes. If anything happens, don't get behind me, and I'll make sure you get out of this safe.
Okay. You both come to within about 10 feet of the front door, just making your way along, absent-mindedly, stepping over shrubs, stepping over bodies and doing bits and pieces, but the ground itself is squelching. You manage to get within 5 feet of the door.
Totally a roll. Is that a roll you did there?
Yes. I'm actually going to use my metal dice so you can hear it an awful lot better, so you can hear this
Oh,
thud
no,
roll.
No, it's fine, don't do it. But
Oh, you sure? That's fine.
Just saw the wee wrist action. I'm like, that's definitely a roll. Cool. Gonna proceed forwards. Gonna take my shield, take my sword out, just to kind of get ready.
There's very definitely movement going past one of the upstairs windows. Something in a long cloak. You can't really see much more. It's windows, unlike in Credit where it was kind of arrow slits, but these things are very definitely windows. There's 2 torches on downstairs. There's 1 on upstairs or some sort of light from upstairs, and you just see this sort of shape move past the window. The door is open.
Okay. Right, Walton, this is it. Let's see how this goes.
Good luck.
I'm just going to kind of raise my voice as I'm approaching the door. My name is Logan Red Fox. I'm here to speak to you with peaceful intentions. I am approaching the door. I seek to speak to your leader.
No sound.
I am coming in. I have myself armed. I hope to speak to whoever's in charge. Proceed to enter the door.
You step inside, and the door. The room that you're in is a very long room. It's probably about 20 feet long, and there are portions of barrels, like actual individual slats of barrel wood, on each of the shelves the whole way along. And at the very back are iron rings. And you can kind of very quickly put together this is a sort of pre-staging area. So when anybody visits, if they want to bring the wood in that's been freshly chopped and prepared outside, this is very much the start of a barrel making workshop. And a lot of it is in neat piles. So despite the disturbances outside and despite everything else is in its place. There's smatterings of red and brown on the floor. And the rest of the room is cold. And the adjoining door to your right is closed.
Okay, I'm going to have a look around. Obviously looking at the scenery as you described it. Focusing a wee bit on the red and brown that you said it was on the ground. Obviously not a good sign. Going to see if I can see anybody in the actual building. No.
In the actual building itself, through the next door or anywhere else around, you don't see
Around here
anybody.
first, and then move on to the door. Just don't want anybody
Nobody
jump up
else.
behind us.
The room in itself is 10 foot wide by about 20 foot long, and it's effectively just shelves all the way down, as if you're walking through a long cupboard. And it's just pieces of wood and pieces of iron. There is one half-constructed barrel at the bottom of the room, which has a little bit of liquid in it, but not much else.
Did Walton follow me in here, or was he standing outside?
No, I've followed you in.
Okay. Seeing that there's nobody here, I kind of just again raise my voice so that people can hear. I seek to speak to whoever's in charge to find out what is the dispute between here and the townspeople of Kresk.
No sound comes within. It's deathly silence. The wind whistles from the door behind you and rattles the door, the adjoining door frame. No other sound.
We could settle this peacefully. No one can get harmed. I'm sure that you want that for your people as well.
Can I get an intelligence check from both of you? I'll give you an advantage considering how still and how silent it is.
Thank God you give me an advantage. 12.
18 plus 2, so I got a 20.
Oh, nice.
You put your hand on Logan's shoulder just as he's about to step forward. There's a line of string or wire at the bottom part of the door as he's about to step into the next room. You can hear.
What is it?
You can hear the creaking of something from behind the door, but you're not entirely sure what it is. But the door in itself is closed. It's rattling, as I said. It's not entirely jarred over and locked over, but this filament of wire just seems to be two small pieces of wood at the bottom of the door, and something goes under the door in itself and connects. You can hear from the next room scuttling.
Let's grab Logan and go, wait! Point down.
Oh, thank you. So am I able to open the other door and step for the tripwire?
still wouldn't open it. I would trip it and see what happens from a distance.
Yeah, just asking Paddy if that's doable still. Just it's just an option, you know.
So if you could open the door but not touch the tripwire, just step
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah, is that doable?
You want to try it?
Don't. It goes under the door. Don't.
How do we trip it? Is there
It opens inwards.
if you get anything to trip it with?
There's wood lying about everywhere, so we can chuck it at it.
There's a book.
No.
Yeah, just gonna see if we can get some wood or something just to kind of throw at it.
Just pick up one of the slats and go at a distance, kind of almost diagonally and back from the door.
So almost back
Scary.
at the outside doorway, but throwing in at the trap wire.
Yeah. So we'll just kind of. Okay.
Okay.
I'd kind of stand my shield ready, like just for whenever.
Okay. So as you're about to throw that bit of wood, Damakos and Il Krakaww,
They're on the other side.
Just try to trap off on us.
you open that back door ever so carefully, and there's a dim bit of light that bleeds into the room from the adjoining room on the other side. There's no sconces or lights, torchlit lit in this room, but from the adjoining room you can definitely see it. And in this room, Il Krakaww, you are loving the fact that you've just walked into the glassblowers workshop, where each of those glass bottles have been made and set out, and there's by chance 2 bottles half full. It's a beautiful crimson red liquid. No labels on the bottles, but you can see there's wooden stacks all the way along the side of the wall, and they've all been laid out and they've all been made ready. Maybe half a dozen of them are broken on the floor, and there's glass on the floor that you may need to be careful watching for, that the light glistens off of. But there are 2 bottles of wine, or what appears to be wine,
Oh, where
on
did
one of
one
the
go?
shelves.
Whoops. Where is the shotgun? There we go. Discord's had a bit of a ban here. There we go.
I can see that on the iPad separately. There's definitely something up with the stream. Bear with us 2 seconds, everybody.
There we go. Done. Thanks, Bucky.
All done and all back.
Buchan sent me a message. I checked it and it just messed everything up.
Yeah,
I'll put
my
it in.
fault. Totally my fault.
That old chestnut. Yep.
So yeah. So I'm in the glass blowers place where the bottling part.
Did you hear any of what I've mentioned before? Or shall I go for it again?
I was
cover again.
I was
'cause I
just
think you missed
distracted
most
with
of
the
okay.
the cameras messing up.
You've walked into a room that is lined with glass bottles. Then it appears to be a glassblower's workshop, as in each of the new bottles of wine that have been blown out and made straight have been prepared here. And there are 2 bottles with a crimson red liquid in it on the shelf in one of the upper shelves. On the floor, there's probably between 4 and 6 glass bottles completely smashed, and there's glinting light coming from the other room in. In addition, ahead and to your left is a staircase descending down, and to your right, a staircase ascending up. If you kept on walking forward, and to your right, there's a door. This seems to be a good passageway to go up and down, as well as taking the vines in from the back. Potentially they went down to the basement, potentially people who worked the fields went upstairs straight to bed. This seems to be the general access for the whole building.
Okay. The temptation is to take a swig of what's in the bing.
Of course.
But instead of doing that, I might just bag it, snatch it.
Taking 2 bottles of wine.
Yeah.
It's Damakos rubbing off on you, man.
Save it for later. Well, the thing is, I don't want to be drinking on the job. There might be a bigger prize at the end of the rainbow here. So, do I really want to blow my load right now?
That's such an odd way to put that.
I don't know how else to put that.
One that's stuck in the back of this building with him.
Yeah, I don't want to go. You know, I've came in with the horny man in the back door. And I'm not gonna blow my load the first chance I get. Look at Ross. He knew I was gonna do that.
We all knew you were going to do that.
Ah, beautiful. Well, you did it first, mate. It's your suggestion. Okay. Right. So yeah, I'm just gonna nab those, and then just start to
Is there
look
any
at-
sign of Indy being in this area recently?
The glass on the floor. The door in itself, if you were to carefully negotiate past the glass, which you can do anyway as a boot-wearing individual, then you can effectively get to the door and try the handle. And as you look inside, there are massive vats of where the wine in itself is actually made. And occasionally you can see the flicker of someone moving back and forth, especially across the way on the other end of the room. And the room in itself is quite expansive. So there's very definitely two people in here with cloaks on, and they're both making their way towards the door on the opposite side of the room.
They're
There's
moving
not-
away from us and they're moving towards Bucky and Ross.
You could put that together. Yep. You could assume that they're going in that direction either because of noise, distraction, or something else. And there's a staircase, as I said, going up and down behind you.
Let's try going up.
Up. As you go upstairs,
Let's make a sleep. Oh, there it is.
Logan,
I've thought that several times.
you open that door.
After he's tripped the trip.
Sorry, I beg your pardon. So after you trip the tripwire in itself, there is a local as small, tiny little explosions and puffs of smoke, almost like a prestidigitation from your knowledge of arcane works, bounces its way all the way around the door and makes a small cacophony of noises. Tings, whistles, sparks, all sorts of things to try and get the attention of whoever else seemed to be there. The wire in itself snapped.
So it's kind of like an alarm system. Okay.
We've just tripped it.
Yep. Only way to proceed is forward. Gonna slowly move towards the door.
Okay.
I'm gonna listen to see if I
Just
can hear
behind you.
behind the door.
Go ahead. Perception check, please. You can join us as well, Ross, if you want.
15.
9.
You can, Logan, you can very definitely hear approaching footsteps.
There's definitely people coming the other side of this door. Are you ready?
Ready?
Don't know what that means.
For a second there. I
My
thought you were-
Eldritch Blast, look.
it
Is
was
that an
a
Eldritch
boat
Blast?
quest. Right, let's do this. Move through the door. Or open the door, not move through the door, as in like running through a door. I need to make sure I say my words right.
As you open the door, push that open, standing in front of you in a room. Bear with me. You seem to be standing in a room where there's a long table, almost like a family gathering area or a dining room, with half a dozen chairs on each side. And the walls themselves are racked with mini bottles and mini barrels of wine, smaller ones. There's some wooden bowls laid out with some fruit in them. Just a general kind of larder combination dining room. And as you walk forward and progress into the room and swing the door open, at the other end of the room, standing in front of you, is about a 6.5 foot tall humanoid shape in a long black and blue cloak, holding a black staff that is bristling with energy. How dare you come here? What business have you?
Still having my kind of sword and shield up. I did announce that I was coming in. My name is Logan Redfox. I'm here to try and settle the dispute between yourselves and the town people of Kresk.
You're from
the people in
Kresk.
it.
You're
No,
from
no, no.
Kresk.
No.
The Burgomaster will hear of this. And for now, from my master to you, please send the Burgomaster our best. And he bangs the staff down on the floor. The butt end of it smacks it on the floor, and a jolt of blue and white flashed energy fizzles out across the room everywhere. And you can start to see the features of the face with cat-like eyes, gaunt, half a goatee, and a shock of white hair underneath the hood. And as he bangs it down on the floor, all four of you can hear the moves and creaks almost like a tree branch is moving from all around you. And as each of the four of you turn and look in each direction to figure out what's going on, Walton and Logan, you start to look out the way you came. You look out the window to the side, even though this shape is standing in front of you, a good 25 feet away near the end of the room. You look outside. Il Krakaww, Damakos, you look outside the windows as you're walking up the stairs to the top floor, and you look down at all those shrubs, all those little rose bushes, all those little dead plants start to move. They start to take shape. And they all become small wooden creatures with glistening green eyes, arms and legs and bodies all made of intertwined twigs. And where there were maybe 30, 35 of these things dotted around the house all the way around, they all start making their way in towards the house and themselves.
What did those idiots do now?
Creepy bastard.
The one in the cape just looks straight at you, Logan. Goes, "Welcome to your tomb." And that's where we're going to end the stream for this evening.
Bastard. Well,
That was a good little start.
So, Bucky, you suck at negotiation.
yeah. I
The
mean,
Monster Hunter.
Should we just go fully on to murder hobo mode and forget the diplomacy?
It's only episode 1. I'll leave it to you guys to figure out.
Not a murder hobo. I ain't a murder hobo.
We will
Give us
make
time.
you.
10 more sessions of babysitting Krakaww, you'll be a murder hobo.
could see it happen.
For
Was
the
that a bird?
benefit-
Was that a bird joke you made?
That was.
Well-
For the benefit of everybody in the stream, for the benefit of Twitch viewers, thank you to everybody for joining us in this evening, this morning, wherever you are around the world. That was the first part of our campaign in Barovia, our take on it so far. Hope it's been fun, hope it's been good. Please watch out for the next one. We don't know when it's going to be. We'll keep you posted via social media about when the next one's going to be. But if you want to catch up with us, reach out to us on Twitter. Definitely tag Krusk and everything. Definitely tag Bucky and everything because he doesn't see it. If you want a meme, go to Haggis.org. And if you want confused, just come and ask me a question. Any question you like. There's also Mick. Who's
Also,
probably half asleep.
I linked it in earlier. Is that if you want some of the merch that Mark is flaunting, you can buy it on the Haggis and Dragons store now.
Stand up.
Show us your merch. Go on. Up you get.
Was the twirl mark?
Be the billboard.
Hey, there he is.
Give us a turn. Show us that ass.
No, it's only
Isn't
got
it
stuff on the front.
No, let's
Honey
not
up
do that.
front.
Yeah. Andrew, Drunk on Cider says, "My money says the bird dies first." Thanks.
I think so.
Mate,
We should
just wait till he gets to level 3.
We should probably get a poll started. See who's got that first.
Well, I'll tell you what. If we can get 10 of those Krusk need pants jumpers sold in the next 2 weeks, I'll consider it.
We'll buy them as well, just so I can go towards it.
Aye, I mean, we could buy them just as long as 10 get sold. That's absolutely fine. So, thank you.
There's
Thank you
the
very
link
much to
there.
everyone for joining. Thank you everyone for joining. We're still going to aim to do some online games. I know Mark's been playing Gloomhaven quite religiously just to try and get through as much as possible. So watch out for other games and sessions from us. If we don't get the chance to speak to you beforehand, have a lovely new year, everybody. And we'll catch you all later.
Happy Christmas, everyone.